We continue with Ayat 80 of Surah Bara'ah, the disavowal, also called Surah Attawbah, the repentance. And we are going over the Abdullah Yusuf Ali translation of the Holy Quran. Whether thou ask for their forgiveness or not, their sin is unforgivable. If thou askest 70 times for their forgiveness, God will not forgive them, because they have rejected God and his messenger, and God guideth not those who are perversely rebellious. And God's guiding them, but they're not taking in the guidance, as the Arabic would indicate. So it never says that God doesn't guide people. It says that, they're not being guided by God in a verb sense. They're choosing not to be guided. Those who were left behind in the Tabuk expedition rejoiced in their inaction behind the back of the messenger of God. They hated to strive and fight with their goods and their persons in the cause of God. And they said, go not forth in the heat. Say, the fire of hell is fiercer in heat. If only they could understand, let them laugh a little. Much will they weep, a recompense for the evil that they do. If then God bring thee back to any of them, and they ask thy permission to come out with thee, with these in parentheses, so with thee, say, never shall ye come out with me, nor fight an enemy with me, for ye preferred to sit inactive on the first occasion. Then sit ye now with those who lag behind, nor do thou ever pray for any one of them that dies, nor stand at his grave, for they rejected God and his messenger, and died in a state of perverse rebellion. Now, if you see me visit a graveyard, I am not, interceding on the behalf of those who have died with belief and action problems. That's not my intention there. Nor let their wealth, nor their following in sons dazzle thee. God's plan is to punish them with these things in this world, and that their souls may perish in their very denial of God. When a chapter comes down enjoining them to believe in God and to strive and fight along with his messenger, those with wealth and influence among them ask thee for exemption and say, leave us behind. We would be with those who sit at home. And they prefer to be with the women who remain behind at home. And their hearts are sealed, and so they understand not. But the messenger and those who believe with him strive and fight with their wealth and their persons. For them are all good things, and it is they who will prosper. God hath prepared for them gardens under which rivers flow to dwell therein, and that is the supreme felicity. And there were among the desert Arabs also men who made excuses and came to claim exemption. And those who were false to God and his messenger merely sat inactive. Soon will a grievous penalty seize the unbelievers among them. And the word here is Yeah, Al-Arab. I thought it was going to say Bedouin or something. Well, that's what it means, but in the context. There is no blame on those who are infirm or ill, or who find no resources to spend on the cause, if they are sincere in duty to God and his messenger. No ground of complaint can there be against such as do right, and God is oft forgiving, most merciful. Nor is there blame on those who came to thee to be provided with mounts, and when thou saidst, I can find no mounts for you, they turned back, their eyes streaming with tears of grief, that they had no resources wherewith to provide the expenses. The ground of complaint is against such as claim exemption. While they are rich, they prefer to stay with those women who remain behind. God hath sealed their hearts, so they know not what they miss. And they will present their excuses to you when ye return to them. Say thou present no excuses, we shall not believe you. God hath already informed us of the true state of matters concerning you. It is your actions that God and his messenger will observe. In the end will ye be brought back to him, who knoweth what is hidden and what is open. Then will he show you the truth of all that ye did. They will swear to you by God when ye return to them, that ye may leave them alone. So leave them alone, for they are an abomination. And hell is their dwelling place, a fitting recompense for the evil that they did. And they will swear unto you that ye may be pleased with them. But if ye are pleased with them, God is not pleased with those who disobey. The Arabs of the desert are worst in unbelief and hypocrisy, and most fitted to be in ignorance of the command which God hath sent down to his messenger. But God is all-knowing, all-wise, and yeah, again, it's not qualifying the word Arab. But we see that of these are people that it's like Sunnah and Hadith. The way, a saying, whose way, who's saying? But people will do things just because it has those words attached to it. They won't consider whether or not Islam actually teaches something, or whether it's just an Arab way. So those are merely of that, But see, it's from those people. It's not all of them. It's like this verse, wamin, So it's not a condemnation of all Arabs, Some of the desert Arabs look upon their payments as a fine, and watch for disasters for you. On them be the disaster of evil. For God is he that heareth and knoweth all things. And evil is, that doesn't sound right. Something negative is going to befall them, basically. But, English way of speaking, I guess, was considered, they didn't notice that would have been a problem 90 years later, right? But some of the desert Arabs believe in God and the last day and look on their payments as pious gifts, bringing them nearer to God and obtaining the prayers of the messenger. Indeed, they bring them nearer to him. Soon will God admit them to his mercy, for God is oft-forgiving, most merciful. The vanguard of surrender, the first of those who forsook their homes, and of those who gave them aid, and also those who follow them in all good deeds, well pleased is God with them, as they are with him. For them hath he prepared gardens under which rivers flow to dwell therein forever. And that is the supreme felicity. Certain of the desert Arabs round about you are hypocrites, as well as the city folk. They are obstinate in hypocrisy. Thou knowest them not. We know them twice. Shall we punish them? And in addition, they shall be sent to a grievous penalty. And by the city, they mean, of course, the Islamic State, city-state, Medina, formerly known as Yathrib. Others there are who have acknowledged their wrongdoings. They have mixed an act that was good with another. That was evil. Perhaps God will turn unto them in mercy. For God is oft forgiving, most merciful. Of their goods take alms, so that thou mightest purify and sanctify them, and pray on their behalf. Verily thy prayers are a source of security for them, and God is one who heareth and knoweth. Know they not that God doth accept repentance from his votaries, and receives their gifts of charity, and that God is verily he, the oft-returning, most merciful. And one of the interesting things here is we got, a sequence of these verses. The Suwrah verses, you got 4 of them, 64, 86, and then we got 2. We have 124 and 127, which is very interesting considering that 128 and 129 for some people was, something they didn't want to include because somebody was playing a game with that chapter. But it's a very interesting lesson in 127 in that respect. But just like verse 60, it's talking about all alms. Yeah, there's a lot of lessons, so I'm going to just